Welcome to Best by Decade Horror Movies presented by ActionNerd.com. It's where my daughter and I, Danielle, go through and look at the scariest movies by decade. Like and subscribe. Hi, everyone. Welcome back. This is Steve from ActionNerd.com, and I'm with my daughter, Danielle.
Hi. Hi, everybody.
And we are here to count down the top 20 horror movies plus one of the 1980s. And you weren't
Yep.
even born yet.
No, I was not.
Yeah. So I graduated high school in 1981 to put this in perspective. So I got to see every one of these on the list.
Yeah,
Let's
I've
start
only
off.
seen a couple of I've only seen I would say like 60% of no, 30% of them. But I feel like the ones that I have seen are pretty iconic.
Let's start with The Shining. This is
Ooh.
this is Stephen King. Um, this one brought in big actor, big name actor Jack Nicholson starred in it.
I have a question about him.
Yeah,
Was he super famous at that time already, or was this like one
yeah,
of his
yeah.
first
No,
films or
he was big then, and just iconic big. And so to get
okay.
him in a horror movie like this was crazy. It also starred Scatman Crothers, small part in
Don't
it,
know who that
but
is.
yeah, he was the voice of Metal Arc Limit in the Harlem Globetrotters cartoon on Saturday morning. So
Okay.
what? But the big thing with this was Stanley Kubrick, which was like the Steven Spielberg at the time, famous director, directed this. And to get him to do a horror show was amazing. So he had dabbled in science fiction already, but this was it. The trailer we're showing right now was so freaky. It's nothing but a hallway with two elevators, and suddenly blood just comes pouring out to the point where it covers the camera lens, so everything's blood. And that was it. That was, and it says coming this summer.
Oh, and there was nothing really more else to it, and that's all
No,
you saw?
not on the main trailer. Not on the main trailer. Now it later developed into more, and I think what they did was, as people saw the movie, they would add things. One of the very
Oh,
famous
okay.
parts is, of course, Jack Nicholson taking an axe to the door and saying the very famous line, which may be in your
Hmm.
facts.
Yes. Well, let me talk about that right now because
Okay.
I had a fact that said that 60 doors had to be used for that scene
Oh,
because he
wow.
kept having to do retakes and whatnot to perfect it. And then of course the "Here's Johnny" quote of the century,
Right,
right? I don't know, whatever,
right.
was said during that little part. But keep going, keep talking about it. I do have some other facts, but I want to hear
Yeah,
what else
so
you have to say.
so red rum has become known as murder now. So if you
Right.
say red rum, it's murder, and that was because the little kid in there spelled red rum on a door, and then when you looked at it in the mirror in the movie, it said murder.
Ooh,
Woo-hoo-hoo.
spooky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you got for me?
Okay, so you just talked about the little kid, Danny, who wrote, Red Rum or whatever it was. Or did he write it? Is that what it was?
Yeah, he wrote it in the movie.
Okay, that's what I thought. So he was actually told it wasn't even a horror film to begin with, almost to like protect him so he's not as scared. So he didn't know it was like a horror scary movie. He just, I don't know exactly what he thought it was, but he was told that to almost to protect him. The movie was shot in chronological order, which apparently was kind of rare in that time of age or
Oh,
time.
yeah.
Did, does that speak to you at all? I don't know. Were there other,
Yeah,
I mean,
because normally you would just do shots and they put them all together, but if they did it,
yeah.
yeah, that's cool.
Hmm. And then that said that her name is Shelley Duvall, right?
Yeah,
Saying
she
that
just
right.
died last month.
I know it's really sad. Rest in peace to her. But she was treated really bad on this set, apparently. She was like isolated from the cast just so it could almost like um make her really get into the scene or get into the character, which is
Yeah.
kind of sad. I'm sure that didn't help her
Yeah,
mental health.
she ended up sad. There was some mental health issues. I've seen
Yeah.
pictures of her living in a car. Horrible stuff.
Yeah,
And
it's crazy.
she starred in Popeye and some other big blockbusters, and then that was it.
Yeah.
Very sad. Um, let's go to a favorite. Nightmare on Elm Street. Nightmare on
Oh
Elm
yeah.
Street scared the hell out of me and everybody else that saw it. It
Yeah, I don't
was,
doubt it.
yeah, there's a scene right here in the trailer actually shows it of the wall coming out. And it looks like they did it with plastic or something. And
Right.
the girl
They
gets
actually
lift.
did. That's a fact.
Oh, did
They did it
they?
with like, yeah, they did it with plastic stuff. It wasn't anything high tech or crazy. Yeah, I can't remember quite the material, but it was something like a plastic or like a
Yeah.
vinyl or something.
Did you find anything about the girl getting lifted up and then on the ceiling? And it was
I don't
crazy.
think so. Did you have something about that?
No, but when I saw it, that was groundbreaking. I mean, you saw this girl in bed
Hmm.
get lifted out of the bed, floating,
Right.
then thrown up to the ceiling, and then
It
murdered.
kind of reminds me of one we're going to talk about in a sec, or like, later on, but Poltergeist, that scene where she's like crawling up the
Yep,
the
yep.
walls and stuff. So
Same type
interesting.
of thing.
Yeah.
But this was a movie that, I mean, now most generations don't know that Freddy didn't exist before this. Freddy's such a staple of Halloween and the
Right.
knives and the sweater and it was amazing. But this was a really good story. Now I know they made what, 8 of these or something like that.
Yeah, there's so many. There's so
Yeah,
many of yeah,
I'll tell you,
spin-offs.
it was just groundbreaking. And I don't want to ruin any of your facts,
Yeah, you better not.
but whose first appearance was this?
Johnny Depp,
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
hot. Okay, and everybody knows he's a hottie now, even when he's older, but back then, I'm assuming he was like a heartthrob because he's super attractive. And one of the facts that I saw was that, is it Wes Craven? Yeah, Wes Craven's
Yeah.
daughter was the one who like picked him out and was like, take him, Hottie
Oh,
Lamati.
of course.
So that's how he got, definitely got in. It was the influence of his daughter's selection. Um, there was also a note that I saw, or a little article or fact that I saw about what it was based off of where Wes Craven read an article about what is it, Cambodian refugees who would refuse to sleep because they thought they were going to get killed by like their nightmares and stuff. And so that was what this was like loosely based off of, that like fear of, dying while having
Yeah.
a nightmare or something, which I assume has to do with maybe a heart attack.
Yeah. And Wes Craven was on our list from the 70s. He did
Mm-hmm.
the Last House on the Left. And then
Yep.
this was, as I said in the beginning, this was more intense. The 80s got more intense with their horror. There was a
Yeah.
lot more blood. The slasher movies started. It was, all brought on with Halloween, obviously, but
Mm-hmm.
these just started lining up and there were great ones and then there was just ridiculous ones.
Yeah,
But this one stood the test of time and still is
for
one
sure.
that people watch on Halloween and
Mm-hmm.
you still will see Freddy's at every Halloween, especially as an adult Halloween party or nightclub. There's always Freddy's in there. Did you
Mm-hmm.
know about how they made the hand?
No, but I have three other facts, but tell me about the hand.
So the hand was made out of fishing knives. They just cut the
Oh,
ends and put fishing knives. So I thought that was cool. What do you have?
okay. Okay, so what color is Freddy's sweater?
Brown
If you,
and red. Well, it's dark greenish brown and red.
yeah, it's like red and green. And so Wes Craven selected those colors because it's apparently they really clash to like the human eye
So like
or whatever. So
contrast.
that's sure.
Okay.
Yeah, contrast, clash.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why he picked those colors to just, I don't know, make us more uncomfortable. The budget was 1.8 million, but it grossed over 57 million, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then did you see anything about how like where Freddy Krueger got his name?
No, no, I didn't.
Okay, so it was after Wes Craven's school bully. So he named, apparently there's some guy, I don't know if he's still alive, but he's walking around as Freddy Krueger, and that's where the name was based off of.
I
So
had
I thought
no
that was
idea
interesting.
about that.
Yeah,
Wow. I wonder how he felt about that.
I know.
Wow,
I'd
that's
love to
cool.
hear his POV.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, that brings us to number 3, which is another one that
Mhm.
really got to me, The Thing. and they redid this recently, I believe, but this was a Kurt
Yeah.
Russell movie. Took place in Antarctic. An alien something was found. They bring it back to the base, and all hell breaks loose. And the effects were unmatched by anybody. The trailer was really interesting. It kind of took a play out of the aliens thing where it just
Hmm.
brought the letters together and made the John Carpenter's The Thing. And of course, we remember John Carpenter from Halloween. So
Right.
John Carpenter was like king of horror right now. So anything they could get to get him to do, he would do. And of course, he
Right.
did Prince of Darkness, which I could stand. And that was in the 70s. But
Yeah, that one was, I was watching another YouTuber who was counting down on some good 80 films, and that was on his list, and I was like, or at least I think that, if I'm thinking
yeah,
of the
you're
right
right. It was
one.
80s, not 70s. You're right. And I tried to watch it and I couldn't stand it. It was
Yeah.
terrible. But
Mm.
this was so cool. There's a scene in here where there's a blood draw, and this is like a super intense scene. That's how you
Okay.
could find out if you were one of the
Right,
aliens,
right, right.
kind of like Invasion of the Body Snatchers from last
Right.
1970s. And
Hmm.
who was going to be it? It was great. There's a dog creature in there with that comes up.
So,
Oh my gosh. I don't want to give it away for people that haven't seen it, but if you haven't seen it, you're dumb because this thing is
I guess I'm
insane.
dumb.
You've never seen this?
No, because you know what I thought it was based off of? Remember when you drive to Tucson? So we're from Arizona.
That's right.
Um, Driving to Tucson, we always saw a big sign that said the thing, and
Yeah.
I never saw it, or at least I don't remember seeing it, but you told me like it was a mummy and you just go see a mummy or like a
Yeah.
baby mummy or something. I don't know.
It was a
Is that
mom and a
based off
baby.
is that
Yeah.
based off of this movie? Why did I think as a child like hearing the movie The Thing, I always equated it to, oh, that's the Tucson thing.
Yeah, no,
There's
I
no
could see that
correlation.
because we grew up. I remember forever, and I don't know how long the thing has been around, but I think the late 60s or 70s, maybe
Yeah.
earlier. It was a tourist trap. You saw those billboards everywhere, yellow
Hmm.
and black, big thing, the thing. And I could see where you did that because coming from Tucson or Phoenix or whatever, you would
Yeah.
have to pass those things if you were driving through Arizona. I could see where
Yeah.
you got that. What else you got for
Yeah.
me on this one?
Okay, I'm gonna read my little notes here.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
you did say it was a remake of a another movie called The Thing from Another World that was in 51. It was released.
yeah.
Um, a lot of this film was almost overshadowed by E.T. at the time. So E.T. was coming out, and so at least my facts say that it was, or well, I can't call them facts if I'm not so sure, but they are a fact. But it said that it was overshadowed by E.T. I don't know, was that true or not? Because E.T., did you see E.T. when it came out?
Of course, everybody saw
Okay.
E.T. when it came out, and I think if I remember right, I was so bummed out E.T. lost at the Oscars to Gandhi, and I was like,
Oh,
Gandhi,
okay.
what the hell's Gandhi? So then I watched Gandhi. It should have won. It was that
Oh,
good. So it's
yeah.
just long. But anyways, that's not
Yeah.
horror. So what else?
Let's see. It had said that it had an ambiguous ending that led to decades of fan theories about who is still actually human.
That's
So
right.
there's some like little conspiracy theories about that. There was one that said that the 22-year-old Rob Bottin, I don't know what character he played, but that he was hospitalized for exhaustion. So apparently it was like a crazy film to be included in.
Yeah.
Rob Bottin, do you know who that is?
No, but I'll tell you, I mean, you're in snow and ice the whole time. I've never heard of him, so maybe
Oh, okay.
big. I don't
That's
know.
all I got.
Well, it
Let's
was a
move to the
great.
next one. That's good.
Yeah, it was a
Sorry, I'm
great
excited.
film. Um, and it bombed at the box office initially. Then it came back to
Yeah,
life and it did really well. So
which
it's a great one. It's a really
yeah,
go see it. Go rent it.
maybe. I'll go to about Blockbuster
Yeah, go
tonight
to
and grab it.
Blockbusters or Zips Video. I don't think you remember when I worked at Zip. No, you weren't even a. Yeah, you were. Zips Video. I worked at
Yeah, I
Zips
was a
Video
child when
Records
you
and
were
Tape.
there.
Yeah, you were a baby.
Oh, fun.
I don't think they're around anymore, but they were one of the first people in the
Probably not.
nation to actually rent videos.
Oh, okay.
Like before all the
Interesting.
other big chains did, they did
Yeah.
for a small chain out of Tucson. Bernie Simon was one of the owners. Yeah.
Bernie, we love
Yeah.
you.
No, we did not. Anyways, let's go to this one. everyone's favorite guy with a hockey mask, Friday the
Oh
13th.
yeah.
Of course, this started it all. What year did this start? 1980, I think.
80? Yeah,
Yeah,
right on there.
yeah, 1980. And we've already talked about this in the 70s show. How many people does Jason kill in the first Friday the 13th?
Oh wait, this is the second one?
No, this is the first one.
Oh, okay, okay.
How many did he kill?
Oh, you talked about that in your other show where yep, and it was zero, right?
Right, right.
Because the
He kills
mom
he
does
kills
it?
nobody. Yeah. Yeah. So, the story, as we most of us know, the
Right.
child was drowned, neglected
Hmm.
by camp counselors, and the mom takes her revenge on all the new folks at the camp, Camp
Right.
Crystal Lake. Um,
Love that.
yeah, the trailer was was in the vein of Halloween the movie, not the Halloween the trailer. You saw chase scenes, you saw knives, you saw a little bit of comedy. Uh, of course, the girl running away. Um, just little
Let me guess, she
innuendos.
wasn't wearing a bra.
Oh, wasn't she? I don't know. I
No,
didn't.
I just feel like all of those movies, like they played this off in like the scary movies, the satirical films about that,
Yeah,
where the girl's like running away. She just happens to be in white and the sprinklers come on. Like
but that
I
was
feel like those
actually
are
in
always
Scary
what
Movie, I
happen.
think. Like
No, that's
what?
what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Yeah, the parody movies,
yeah,
scary movie
that's right.
did the, but
It's
it
so
just it makes
true,
me
though.
laugh.
Well, it's
Yeah, it
true. I
always
mean,
happens.
most people wanted to see that kind of stuff
Yeah,
back
well,
then.
I don't want to say the S word around you, but sex sells is what they say.
Absolutely.
I
And
feel like.
especially in the 80s when it was, it just came out of the free love 70s, and 80s was, I guess, have fun even more. So
Gross.
the trailer was actually pretty long for this one. And
Oh,
again,
was it?
trailers are rated. So if it's a red band trailer, then it could be
Hmm.
shown if you went to an R-rated movie. If it's a green band trailer, then you'd have to be in a PG movie and the trailer would be a little more tame. But this was a movie that is celebrated even now with Friday the 13th, which I just think
Hmm.
happened in September. Was Friday the 13th September, I
Yeah,
thought.
I mean they do. Yeah, because it happens a couple times, or at least twice a year,
Yeah,
because then
yeah.
everybody goes and gets tattoos.
Oh,
Which,
I didn't know about that.
yeah, all the tattoo places, or not all, but most tattoo places do Friday the 13th deals where tattoos are like $13. For
Oh,
some reason, I'm always broke on Friday the 13th, so I can
well,
never get one.
probably good. What kind of facts do you have for me on this one?
Okay, so ooh, I almost looked at my Poltergeist one because I'm so excited to talk about that. So the budget for Friday the 13th was 550,000 and it grossed 60 million. That's a big I mean similar to the thing-ish, or no, sorry, similar to Nightmare on Elm Street a little bit. The sound, the iconic sound of, whatever.
Oh, you
Did you
just
know
cut
what it
out.
did I
It,
really? Well, I was
yeah, it was
maybe
so scary, maybe. So I
yeah.
want to tell you about that. So
I
they
want to tell you about it
spell it
too.
out. They spell it out. Kimamama.
Yeah. So kill mommy or whatever, or mama.
I didn't know
That's
that until I read the fact today.
me
The,
too. Well,
the
yeah, last week.
ma.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
guess I didn't. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense because the antagonist in the film is technically the mom.
yeah.
Um, they also said Kevin Baker made one of his earliest film
Kevin Bacon or
appearances in this.
Baker?
Did I say Baker? I meant to
Yeah,
say Bacon. I meant to say Bacon.
the
He's
Footloose
also a
guy.
baker. Is that another guy? Whatever. Kevin Bacon had one of the most memorable death scenes.
Or memorable.
I All right, you know what? Cut this. Just kidding. Okay, can you tell me what his death scene was? Because I don't remember. Do
God,
you remember?
I don't remember either.
Apparently, it's not that
It's
great to
not that memorable. He was killed
uh,
by the mom. Maybe
oh,
so. There's a death scene in there where I think, and how many Friday the 13th are there? There's a ton.
right. There's a
I think
bajillion.
he was stabbed with a spear or something through him and whoever he was on top of. Maybe.
Inappropriate.
Yeah.
Well, that doesn't sound that crazy. So
Oh,
I
great.
don't know. Maybe we'll have to look it up
Yeah. I
later.
don't see anything on my fact. It was filmed at a real life Boy Scout camp.
Oh,
That's cool.
well, because Camp. Wait, is this the Camp Crystal Lake one?
Yeah, but it's called Nobi Bo Sko.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I saw that. Yep,
Yeah,
that's
so
cool.
but that's it for Friday the 13th. Anything else you want to
Mm.
add?
No, that's it. I want to get to my favorite one. This is literally my
Okay.
favorite of the list.
Poltergeist.
I love
Poltergeist
it.
at number five, Poltergeist. 1982, right? And
Hmm.
um, listen, this was another one. Steven Spielberg got involved with this,
Right.
and Texas
Are you quizzing
Chainsaw
me?
Massacre director.
Kobe Hooper.
Yeah,
Is that right?
nope, it's yes, that's right.
Oh, because I was gonna say I wrote it
I
down.
was just say Tobe. Tobe.
Oh,
I
well,
don't
I
know
would
if it's
assume
Tobe or Toby, but
Mr. Hooper
yeah, this now
or
there's going to
Miss.
be some great facts in this, so I'm not going to spoil any of those. But I will tell
Okay.
you that the trailer got everybody excited to see this. This was not like ha ha fun and ha, kind of like the dark comedies of
Mm-mm.
Friday the
Yeah.
13th, things like that. This was straight on what the hell is happening?
Scary.
Very scary, very scary.
Yeah.
The little girl, won't talk about that
Mhm.
yet. I'll let you.
Okay.
Very scary. The little midget with the famous line that everybody
Oh yeah,
still
yeah.
says,
Wait, what did she say? I forgot. Oh,
don't
there.
look at the light," or something.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I love that
Don't go
lady.
into the light. There she is on the
Yeah.
trailer. It's yeah, so it's listen, this was scary. There's a scene under the bed, clown scene, very
Yes.
scary. The
All of
falling
it was
into the
scary.
to the pool.
Yes, which, let me tell you a fact since you're
Yeah,
bringing it
let's
up.
hear it.
It was real skeletons. Those weren't fake.
That's what I
Apparently, it was
heard.
more, yeah, it was more expensive to buy like plastic skeletons than versus using like real skeletons. That I would poop my pants. The pool would be brown.
It was
I was just
they probably
with
did poop
real
their pants.
skeleton. Yeah, that's scary. That's scary.
Yeah,
I love this
I saw
movie.
that too, and I couldn't believe that that was
Yeah.
real. Like the whole thing. But there was so many special effects, beds flying, cars
Hmm.
flying, lightning, the kids flying. Um,
Yeah.
it's a rescue movie too, where they're trying to
Yeah.
get her back, Caroline, Miss Caroline,
Oh.
trying to get her back, and the mom goes in for the rescue. It was, and what a great
Yeah.
movie! What a
I'm
great
getting
movie!
chills thinking about it. I love that movie. I don't know when I saw it. I must have saw it really young as a kid because it
Yeah.
like imprinted in my mind. I remember them counting down when there's a storm for when you hear the thunder.
Yes.
I remember like the spooky tree outside his
Oh
door, the
yeah.
clown, and
Yep.
apparently that clown when they got into that like the little boy and the clown got into like the little tussle, the mechanical clown thing like malfunctioned and started to actually choke him. And then people
Oh
were like,
wow.
"Oh, he's just acting really well." He's just, but they were like, "Oh no, he's like actually can't breathe." So that's kind of scary.
Ugh.
Um, and then I remember the scene of where the mom like gets like dragged up the wall. That part was really scary. Of course, little girl Caroline or whatever you said her
Yeah.
name was, Carolyn, in front of the TV with her hands, that
That was
iconic like
and that
just
being the movie poster. So even
yeah,
the movie poster was scarier than hell.
yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. Let me tell you facts about it.
Yep.
So although it was directed by Mr. Hooper or whatever the hell his name is,
Yeah.
um,
Not from
it
Sesame
was
Street.
I don't know who that is. Okay, it was Steven Spielberg, although he wasn't said that he was directing it, but he took over a lot of the directing duties, and I think it was because he was doing other movies at the time, and there was some kind of rule where you couldn't like do multiple at the same time or something. So a lot of people think like Steven Spielberg really was the director, but they just had to say it was Mr. Hooper.
Gotcha. Not from
Yeah,
Sesame Street.
not from Sesame Street.
Yeah.
Um, and then like this film was haunted, just like a lot of our other
Yeah.
films that
Yeah.
we've been
Let's
going
talk
over.
about this.
The poor little girl died. The main girl.
Yeah.
There was another person that died too.
The
Heather
young the
O'Rourke.
other sister was
That's I don't remember
she
why
was
they died. I think
murdered.
it.
She was killed by
Oh,
her
that's what it
boyfriend.
was. That's what it
Yeah.
was. And they wrote her out of the second movie and said like she went off to college or something, but
Yeah.
really in real life she was murdered. And then the little girl I think died of like an illness, right?
A very rare illness that swelled her up and then yeah, she passed away.
That's awful.
Yeah.
That's sad.
I thought there was something else though. Um No, I guess that was it.
They're here, the iconic "They're here."
Oh
Didn't
yeah.
the little girl say that, I think?
Yeah, and turned around and looked
Yeah.
and said, Terry.
Yeah. I need to watch this one again. I probably haven't seen it since I was a kid. So I
Yeah.
need to watch it again. It was very What is the dumb word I'm trying to say?
Memorable.
Jesus
Memorable.
Christ. I remember this film.
That's
That's
all you
all
have
I'm
to
gonna
say.
say. It's a
Yeah.
good one.
So
This is my favorite.
I love Poltergeist, but this one had me upset. Like there's a scene in Evil
Poltergeist?
Dead. Nope, Evil Dead.
We're
Evil
moving. Okay.
Dead number 6 on our countdown, 1981, the year I graduated
Yep.
high school. There is a
Oh.
scene in here where this possessed woman is talking from the basement trapdoor, and
Wait, did she say
I
something really inappropriate, or was that just a TikTok edit that I
oh,
saw?
I don't know. I don't
You
listen.
don't
I
remember?
had my
Okay.
eyes closed. As soon as she came up and started
Huh.
talking to that voice, I
They're
plugged my
scary
ears
looking.
and closed my eyes. Here's
Well,
this
she
scene.
said
They
something
show it in the
bad.
trailer. I don't listen. This was off the charts bad. This really pushed the boundary. It could have been rated X, and I'll tell you why.
Hmm.
One of the first scenes of how the possession takes place is a girl is in the woods and a tree impregnates her with the possession.
Okay.
Now, I didn't know to comprehend that completely back then. I mean, kind of did, but I couldn't believe they would do that. The blood, the guts, the chopping of people up,
Yeah,
it
gory.
everything. And this became a very famous director. Sam Raimi did this. Um, I bet
Yeah.
it was low budget. Do you have that?
Yeah, 350,000.
Yeah. And it made
That's
millions.
pretty
Not a
low.
lot, but it made
Yeah.
a couple million at least. But this was just crazy. It had a few spawned some sequels. It had comic books. It elevated Bruce Campbell, who played Ash Williams, to super status of cult horror.
Okay.
He was on TV shows, all kinds of stuff, and it was just crazy. Like they used some dark humor in it, but it scared the poop out of me to this day. Like this day, I know when that one scene's coming on, I'm done. Eyes are shut, like this. I'm not watching it. I'll watch it in the trailer, but I'm not watching it for real because it's
Yeah.
real. But what do you have for facts on this one?
Well, okay, I don't think I've seen this one, but obviously I've seen the other ones. And I feel like, am I correct in that the Evil Dead franchise has like a theme of just like such intense gore, like blood everywhere? I feel like
Yeah,
by the end of every Evil Dead movie, because the last one I saw was Evil Dead Rise, like a year ago, I think was the latest one that came out.
yeah,
At the end of the movie, everybody's just soaked in blood. They are
yep.
just, it's like gore explosion. So. That one's fun. If you like gore, I would assume that you'll love the Evil Dead franchise in general.
Yeah, I mean, this is the traditional cabin in the woods. They go to the cabin in the
Right.
woods. They find the Book of the Dead. They listen to the spell. Somebody chants the spell. I think it was on a tape recorder, reel to reel tape or something like that. And then that comes to life. The cool thing about this was the camera angles. The camera angles of
Yeah.
this creature coming up to the house, where they obviously had like a camera on wheels going through the path up to the house and then backing off, was awesome. I mean, it really
Hmm.
got you going and scared. And then
Right.
as Bruce Campbell had to fight these things off and ended up, I think, chopping his hand or arm off, putting a chainsaw on it. And that became a very traditional, like amazing thing. This was one that was under the radar, wasn't blockbuster at all, but then became the absolute cult status that it is now. It's just fantastic. Anything else on this
Yeah.
one?
Yeah, because you were talking about the effects of or just the recording, the camcorder, I don't know what the hell they call the video thing that they're using.
Yeah.
To achieve that shaky camera effect, it said that the director used a makeshift camera rig made from a 2x4 plank wood, operated by two people running with the camera to get that like shaky camera
Yeah.
effect.
It
Pretty
was,
interesting.
I mean, it was noticeably. new techniques used in this thing, and they work because this is a very,
Hmm.
very scary movie. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Speaking of very, very scary movies, number seven took it another step, another completely off the raw wall step. And this is Hellraiser. And Hellraiser featured all the monsters in BDSM gear. The whole thing
Yeah.
was geared towards this kind. Now, I don't even know what that means, of course, but
Good.
it was insane. This was a dark horror movie. No funny, no comedy, just straight on creepy horror. And I'll tell you one of the most memorable scenes in it is the very end. The very end
Can you
and
spoiler alert it for me?
what's that?
Can you spoil it for me?
Yeah, I can. So the one of the main guys in the film
Hmm.
is hooked with hooks
Okay.
all through him, being pulled like this. And and the line is, and Jesus wept. And as soon as he finishes the line, he's ripped to shreds with the hooks.
Ah,
It's the blood, the gore, the makeup.
like it's realistic,
Oh,
even
very
back then.
realistic. Like nothing looks like, oh, that looks horrible. That they did
Right.
such a great job. There's even
Mm.
parts where he has no skin on him, like the Robbie Williams Rock DJ movie.
Our favorite.
And it's just muscles and stuff or just blood. And he's walking around and it looks great. The
Yeah.
puzzle box, which has become an iconic prop for people to even use for Halloween or sit on their mantle.
Hmm.
That's a very, very cool thing. Hellraiser spawned some sequels, of course. I
Yes.
thought it even had a TV series. I'm not sure of that, but I thought there was something like that just recent.
Maybe.
But this Pinhead was the
Yeah.
main Cenobite. I think I'm saying that right. Is it Cenobite?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Cenobite.
Cenobite. That is the makeup was amazing. The guy still does Comic Cons. Um,
Oh, really? That's
yeah,
cool.
it was just so well done and creepy. I mean, the Cenobites had like their throats ripped open and hung open where you could see stuff. They
Yeah.
pattern was just weird. Like the mind of Clive Barker, who did this, and he has
Right.
amazing stories as an author.
Bob Barker from Price is Right.
And Bob Barker's fraternal twin. Yeah, it was crazy. And it made me become a fan of Clive Barker. Now, he did other movies like Nightbreed that stunk, but this one
Yeah.
was really good. And this was one, like, I don't read. I read comics, I don't read books. I went after reading Clive Barker because you know how I get obsessed with stuff and they just keep going. And I read some of his books. His books were better than the other movies he did. So
Oh, wow.
read it. What do
Okay.
you got
All right.
facts for us?
Okay. I hope we pronounce words right on this show here, but
Yeah.
the original title of the film, sadomasochists. I think I've only seen the word, not
Is that
said it
like
out
from
loud.
Massachusetts?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Sadomasochist from Beyond the Grave was the original title, which is just like a BDSM term.
Yeah.
And it's based, oh, then the book you must have, did you read this book, The Hellbound Heart? That's what it was based off of,
No, I
his
read books
book.
after this. It was short stories
Oh,
by
okay,
Clive
okay.
Barker with Nightbreed in it.
How many minutes, and you better not have seen this fact, so don't cheat. How
Okay.
many minutes was Pinhead or the Cenobite on this? Like, how many screen time minutes did he have?
I have not seen it, but I'm going to say three.
8. You were
Oh,
supposed to guess
okay.
a really
Well, I knew
large
it was going to
number,
be
and then I would
small
say
if you had a
8.
fun fact. It had to be tiny. Like Boba Fett was what, 45 seconds or something ridiculous like that.
Oh, I look
Yeah.
just like him.
Have you seen it?
Okay. What?
Hell, the movie we're talking about.
I've seen the DVD case that was at your house, and I remember all the pins in his
Yeah.
head, but
Yeah.
I've never seen it because it didn't, for some reason, it didn't interest me. Like, I like horror movies that are like, slasher films. That's what I kind of like. And this one seemed like just some weird movie, but then I really didn't know that it was about what you're saying it's
So
about.
now you're going to go watch it.
So now I'm gonna go watch it tonight.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I think you would like this because it's very, very,
Dark.
yeah, very dark, very not. it's not a happy movie at all. Like you don't go away saying,
Yeah.
"Oh, everything's cool now.
Yeah,
Yay,
yeah,
they
yeah.
won." Not at all. Not at all.
Mm,
It's got an ending,
sad.
like I said, it
Well, I guess
sticks
you
with you.
spoiled the ending for me,
Yeah,
so maybe I
well,
don't.
yeah, but it, it
Whatever.
it doesn't even matter that
There's
much
so much more to it.
more. Yeah. So let's go to number 8, which is The Fly. And
I don't understand this movie. I don't
so
understand.
this was an old Vincent Price movie as well, about a
Okay.
guy, a scientist that w- does some experiment, and it's transformational, and a fly flies in his experiment and turns him into a fly. So he's like a fly with a human head, and then a human with a
Is his
fly head.
body a fly?
Yeah. So that's in the original Vincent Price one, right? So it was really
Okay.
funny. There was a line back then called help me," and it's this little fly it trapped in a spider web that has a human head of the scientist on it, and he's saying,
Wait,
help
wait.
me."
Real quick. I wonder if Beetlejuice took that line because there's a part in Beetlejuice, like the one from the 90s or whatever,
Yeah.
um, where the fly lands on Beetlejuice's grave and goes,
Of course it is.
help me,"
Of
and then
course it is.
they steal it from that.
Yes. And
I'm
this
making
one is
connections here.
Jeff Goldblum and Gina
Yes.
Davis, and I believe this is where they hooked up. And
Oh wait, Gina Davis is the one from Beetlejuice, right?
yeah, this is where they
Okay.
hook up, and I believe got married in real life before or after this. I think it was during this.
Okay.
But this
Yeah,
is a
I think I
gross
remember
movie.
reading that.
In the trailer, it shows him transforming because the fly got into his thing, and he's
What
peeling
thing
off
is he getting into? You keep saying a
like
thing.
this
Into his butt?
transformation experiment he's doing.
Oh,
He's a scientist.
gotcha.
So he's peeling off his fingernails, and it was really
Gross.
gross. And then his face is bubbling, and all these weird things are happening. He's acting like a weirdo. He just like the transformation, the makeup done on this was extraordinary, and it made people freak out because it was just very, very different. Jeff Goldblum at the time was, I guess, considered a sexy guy, and now he's
I'm
all
gonna need to look him up again because
well.
I think I'm
He does the
mixing him
dumb
up.
apartment.com commercials now,
That's
and
who I thought it
was
was.
in
Okay.
Jurassic Park. So,
Okay. Yeah, I
but
could see him as being a hottie, Lamani with a swimmer's body.
well, there you go. There you go. And I'll tell you, this was just what year did this come out? 86.
Yeah, 86.
So the makeup was so good. Guess what it did?
Won an award?
It won an Oscar for the best makeup.
Oh,
And I believe it
nice.
was one of the first Oscars for best makeup. So,
Oh,
um,
that's good.
yeah, the trailer didn't hide anything. It showed the scary makeup, the transformation.
Right.
It even showed the peeling of the finger. So like
That's
it was
gross.
holding back on like you saw The Shining, which was just one thing of blood.
Right.
It was great. This one actually showed stuff and showed you what you'd have to stomach. And I'll tell you, I remember going to the movie and seeing this, and I think I saw it 2 or 3 times. It was great. It was a lot of
Mm.
fun. But I haven't gone back to see it since. And
Yeah.
I don't know. I think they made a sequel to it. I mean, so many of these they just made sequels to try and
Yeah.
capitalize on it, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, you're right. Actually, you know what? This one was almost a sequel of another one. There was
It was
another
a sequel
film
of the
called
first one.
50. It was in 1958. Same name.
Yeah, that's
So
the
it's,
Vincent Price one I was talking about.
oh,
The
missed
help
that.
me, help me, help me. That little thing.
Oh.
Yeah. Any other facts on that?
Yeah, the makeup that Jeffy Boy went through took like 5 hours to put
Oh, I
on.
can imagine.
That, yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah.
All right. The director made a cameo as the doctor on the film. Ew, this was gross. I obviously haven't seen the film. It said that a lady delivered a stillborn maggot baby in the film. Like she gave birth to a maggot.
Oh, I
Do you
don't
remember that
remember
part?
that.
That's
Ugh.
where the director had a cameo. Disgusting.
What was he the maggot baby and came
No, he was
out?
the doctor. He
Oh.
was the doctor delivering the maggot.
Oh, I didn't
Gross.
remember that. So I know
Yeah.
that Jeff Goldblum gets caught by Gina Davis with some other girl. It's even in the trailer. So maybe she got
Okay.
impregnated by the fly.
Oh yeah, then that makes sense.
Yeah,
That's
and
stupid.
had a
So she
mammoth
delivered a
maggot.
maggot.
Oh,
The
great.
line "Be afraid, be very afraid" was ad-libbed by Gina. Gina
Wow.
Davis.
Well, that's
That's
good
my
for her.
facts.
All right. Well, let's go into
I
what my little friend back here spawned. Child's Play.
don't have
Child.
a Chucky doll.
No, we used to have a Chucky doll.
I thought we
We had
did.
the Bride of Chucky and Chucky
Yeah, yeah,
life
yeah.
size.
Well, where'd
Yeah.
they go?
Well, I sold everything I
Sold
had
it
of
for more
Halloween, of
toys.
course. You know that. So
Well,
this came out in 1988, and it starred this lady who later was on God, a famous sitcom, and I can't remember it now.
let me look. Let me look. You
Um,
keep talking.
yeah, but this was about a serial killer
I got
who
nothing.
possesses this child's doll,
Right?
and that little doll becomes possessed and becomes the killer now too. So just like this little guy, it was stalking and killing people. You saw obviously what do you call them? Small people, small person.
Yeah, I was gonna say you said the wrong word in the other. On behalf of my father, we apologize to that community.
Oops, sorry.
Little
Yeah,
person.
there was a little person, a small person, a little person running around. So the Chucky size like varied. It was kind of
Yeah,
crazy.
that's true. That reminds me of when we talk about my favorite from the 90s, Leprechaun. I feel like the sizes of these things change throughout the
Yeah.
film.
So,
Oh well.
but it's creepy, little red-headed doll that they take the batteries out and it doesn't want you to take the batteries out.
Ooh.
The
Yeah, yeah.
trailer's really pretty explicit, not naked stuff, but in what's
Bad
happening in the
words?
chase and all that stuff. But the blood in this looks really dumb. Like the knife
Really?
looks like ketchup with white something on it. I don't it was just
Yeah.
not really great. But there's a scene that absolutely steals from The Shining where she's locking herself in a room and the knife comes through the door, a la
Oh
Jack
yeah.
Nicholson.
Yeah.
But it was a good movie. It was fun. It was it was something you could go to and have a date with and know that there's no little red-headed doll waiting in the parking lot for you.
You
So
never know.
yeah, you do never know. What do you got for me on this one?
Well, I love this movie. I think Chucky is iconic, of course. I've always wanted to dress up as him for Halloween, but I never got the chance to. But I love Chucky. I love this movie. I love the franchise of it, like the second one when, you start seeing, I think, his girlfriend or whatever, the bride.
Yeah,
Um, but the Chucky's full name was Charles Lee Ray. Do you have a guess of where those come from?
I already
Or did
have
you
that
already
in my
cheat?
facts. I already know it, but go
Okay.
ahead.
Yeah, so it was after famous killers, Charles Manson, Lee Harvey Oswald, and then James Earl Ray. So a combination of all of their names.
Yep.
Um, we got nothing else, I think. The
Well,
rest of the stuff isn't that
the, uh,
important. I just feel like this movie was so good. I don't
well,
know.
the thing that I found, and I've not seen where it was, but it says that it was very controversial because it inspired real life violent attacks.
What do you
So
mean? Like people, or were
yeah,
they dressed
yeah,
up?
like I don't know. So
Okay.
crazy.
Spooky.
Yeah, who knows? I don't know. Well,
I
let's.
would like a good guy doll, by the way.
So they have them
A
out. You can get them. I see
well,
them.
personalized from my father.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I'll
Sent to
get
me in
you a
the mail.
leprechaun doll.
No, thank you.
So let's go to number 10, which is Day of the Dead, and one of my favorite franchises from George Romero. This is Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, and now Day of the Dead. Uh,
Ah,
and,
okay.
and everybody looked forward to this. Year was 85.
5.
And this was back, he brought back Tom Savini, the makeup artist, very famous makeup artist. He'll be on this episode a couple times. And um, again, zombie movie. Uh, the trailer, the trailer was not great at all. Like it didn't intrigue you to go see it like so many of the other ones because this was an already built franchise. So it's almost like they didn't have to work at it. And you can tell at the low quality trailer and really the low quality acting in it. It was just not,
Mm,
it wasn't the greatest of that, but it rode on the tails of Tom Savini doing the amazing effects. And
right.
then um zombies, how much more violent can they get? And I think they're trying to raise zombies. And, they do show in the trailer, if you are in the Red Band trailer, a zombie bite to the neck and ripping the neck off and blood. But you
Wait, was
still,
it the vocal cords? Because there was one fact that I saw where
yeah, tell me about
they
that.
bit the
That's
neck.
exactly what it was.
Yeah, so this was like one of his groundbreaking, like breaking gore effects. It won a lot of high praise, and I mean, didn't really actually win something, but high praise of like it biting the neck, and then the zombies screaming or audibly saying something, and then the vocal cords rip at the like as well. So
Ugh.
that seems kind
Yeah.
of
So I think
yeah
that's the
cool.
piece that they show in the trailer. What other
It must
facts do
be.
you have on that?
Okay, so this film was originally intended to be R-rated, but the level of gore pushed it to the unrated category. I'm
Yeah.
assuming there weren't very many unrated movies in the 80s,
Yeah,
or
so
was it common theme?
NC-17 didn't exist. It was just unrated.
Okay, so it's just unrated. Okay. Um, the director, Romero, the film was initially envisioned as like this big, large, epic zombie war, but it had to be scaled back because of budget constraints,
Yeah.
which where but it was the third one, so what more? I mean,
Yeah, I mean the
I don't
big the
know.
big thing with this was they introduced a zombie. His name was Bub, and he had
Yes. The
intelligence.
intelligent
Yeah.
zombie. Yeah.
And that's who's featured on most of the posters and the gray makeup once again. But yeah, this
Yeah.
this was okay for me. It wasn't as good as Dawn of the Dead, which is my favorite of the three, but it's okay.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
let's go to 11 from 1980, The Fog.
hmm
And guess who directed this one?
John Carpenter.
Yeah, John Carpenter once again. And it was his wife that starred in it as a radio DJ,
Oh,
Adrienne
really?
Boom Boom Barbeau. So Adrienne
Pardon?
Barbeau was on a sitcom called Maude, which was
Okay.
a very famous one. B. Arthur starred in it. So she's from the Golden Girls, for those that need a little help on that one.
Not golden.
Adrienne Barbeau was known for having really big chest. And so
Wait,
she
what
was
was her radio show again
um
called?
I don't know. It was just
Well,
on a
you
it was
said boom boom or something.
I just
Or
added that.
boop boop?
Boom boom to
Oh,
reflect on her chest.
that's why I was gonna make a joke, but apparently you already
Oh.
made the joke. All right, continue.
Anyways, yeah, she was also in Swamp Thing too. So, but I didn't know that she was John Carpenter's wife during this film. But
Right.
this was originally screened. You screen a movie ahead of time. They show it to an audience, and it
Right.
was ranked horrible,
Oh, really?
horrible. So they had to
Hmm.
re-edit a whole bunch and then redo it. Uh, I thought the movie poster did a really good job bringing people in. If you look at the movie poster, I don't know how much it reflects on the whole movie, but it was really well done. The font that they drew of the fog looked really cool, and then the
Hmm.
the creepy things with the it looks like a sickle knife. That's what got people going, and of course, John Carpenter. So Mr. Halloween, you got to go
Right.
see a new John Carpenter film. Um, it was about ghost sailors coming back. That was it in the fog.
Oh,
I don't know.
that's not what I
The
thought it was
trailer
about.
was scary. It looked like zombies. It looked like, well, I guess ghost zombies.
Yeah.
People crashing through walls again, hands coming through windows, chase scenes, that sort of thing. Um, it was, I remember going to see it. Of course,
Hmm.
everybody that liked horror went to go see The Fog. And then, they
Yeah.
use those fishing hooks, those hooks that they gap, like tuna when you pull them in. That's what their
Yeah.
weapons were. And, so that's featured prominently on not only the movie poster, but in the trailer.
Yeah.
I don't know. Was it successful? I don't know if it was or not.
So it said it was the low budget film, but it made around no, sorry, it was made with 1 million, gross 21 million. So
Okay.
eh,
Probably
didn't
on
see
John
that.
Carpenter's name alone.
Yeah,
Or
true.
or on
Uh,
Adrian Barbeau's boobs.
I was gonna say the same thing.
Okay.
Um, the eerie fog was made from dry ice and fans. Simple but effective special effects, probably with that budget. I mean, 1 million, that seems like a lot, but maybe it's not. I don't know.
Yeah.
Um, said that Carpenter had to, well, you already said this. They had to reshoot about one third of the film after the initial cut because it wasn't scary enough.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. And the famous score for the film was completed in 3 days, which is really quick.
Why is it famous? Did you see that? Is that John Carpenter doing it again? Because didn't he do the
I
soundtrack to Halloween too, or something like that?
probably.
Yeah, probably. That's a great fact.
Okay.
Well, all right. With that and kind of a poopy movie, let's go to number 12, which
Uh-oh.
is Creepshow. Now,
Hey.
Creepshow uh is another George Romero
And
and da 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 da
Stephen King.
Stephen King.
Right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So this
Okay.
was an anthology film. And what
Right.
that was taken from EC Comics, which you know I'm into comics.
Right.
In the 50s, they did these little comics that had like 3 or 4 stories in them. It's a big surge right now. As I speak, they're coming out like crazy, and they're reissuing them and redoing them. And yes, your hands up, ma'am.
Yeah, I have a question. Um, is that like your fave movie, Little Guy Behind You? Because that was in like 3 stories. Remember?
Yeah, but that wasn't that style. I mean, it probably stole from the that EC
Okay.
comics type stuff, but this was had Leslie Nielsen in it. Remember him
Mm,
from
nope.
um, lots of funny movies.
Okay.
God, I can't even think. Airplane. Um, the one with O.J. Simpson in it. I forgot. He's like a cop. Naked Gun 2. Anyways.
I don't think that's the correct movie. That was on a
Yeah, it
different
is.
site.
It is the correct movie. So, anyways, these were really good, scary movies. And I think Stephen King appears as a farmer in it.
Mm-hmm.
It's very quick, fun stuff. I remember a scene where this guy is living in a white house with everything's white, and he's afraid of bugs. And of course, how's it end? All the roaches are
Cockroaches.
all over him everywhere. Another one,
Ew.
there's a box and there's a creature, like, don't open the box, creature in it.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what the creature does? Eats her,
What?
kills her.
Oh God.
So it's just, this was done with a lot of comedy in it. So they got together, wrote these stories in the vein of EC Comics, and had some fun doing it. I believe this was a box office hit because it later inspired Creepshow too. This was, Tales from the Crypt type stuff is the same thing
Yeah,
as
yeah.
Creepshow.
Yeah.
So good stuff, really good stuff. And didn't Creepshow, I think they were a TV show too recently, like in the last 5 years. Or Tales from the Crypt. I don't know.
Many of them are on my
They're
shirt.
all the same.
Well,
They're all the same. What
okay.
do you got for facts?
Yeah. So you talked about the roaches scene. Well, guess what? Those roaches were real, and that's disgusting.
Oh, that is gross.
So
They had to be real.
20,000.
There was no
That's disgusting.
AI or
Ugh.
CG back then.
Mm. But
20,000 roaches?
still, ew, I'm getting the
Ugh.
shiveries while thinking about that. Gross. Okay. You already said EC Comics. Was that a big main comic book
Yeah,
corporation? Is
so
that what
so
that is? I don't understand.
I'll tell you real quick. EC Comics were the comics that eventually led to them having to have an approval code in all at all comics because the violence they'd have like
Oh,
covers with a
oh,
decapitated woman's head and the guy holding it with an axe and the body laying in the back. Very graphic scenes. And so Congress and everybody had a fit. And then the comic community, the publisher said, We'll cover it. We'll make a code and stop this stuff."
oh.
But there's been a surge. EC Comics just started again 2 months ago. Oni Press is doing some, and the first issues were great, and now it's lost its lusters. The covers are amazing, but not good stories now.
Gotcha.
What else?
That's all I have. I'd like to get to the next one because I think I've seen this.
Well, this is
And
this is the Hitcher. The Hitcher.
okay.
So there's the Hitcher. That This one came out in 1986, and then they
Hmm.
redid it. This is
Okay.
this is the one with Rutger Hauer in it. Um, who is the other guy? The young guy. He's famous and he's old now.
Thomas Howell?
Yeah, yeah. So, about a story of picking up a hitchhiker. Don't ever pick up a hitchhiker.
Well,
And
yeah.
this blows your mind. This thing is so spooky. It's
Hmm.
nuts. It's it. Rutger Hauer was in Blade Runner, and he was the robot in Blade Runner, so he was doing great at this time. This thing, there's a scene in here where he gets the girlfriend, and she's on she's tied to one car and tied to another car, and
Is
they
that what? Okay, that's what I thought this movie. So when I was in high school for Christmas or some birthday or something, you handed me a box of DVDs and you said like these are some really good movies, just watch them. The Hitcher, I believe, was in there
yeah,
because I remember you telling me about the iconic scene of them being ripped apart. So I've either seen this one or the
you
newer
you,
one,
you would have
but
seen
I've
this one. Yeah,
this one. Okay, so then I've
yeah.
seen this one and I remember, yeah, it being crazy in that scene because you told me about it and I was like, okay, I'm gonna watch this.
Yeah, this starred Jennifer Jason Leigh, who was in Fast Times at Ridgemont High, the
Right.
star of that. And then of course, Hal was like getting huge. He was in Taps and things like that. But
Yeah.
this was just like it was kind of like Terminator without a Terminator. This guy was relentless.
Mm.
Rutger Hauer just kept going on and on and on and after this guy, and it was crazy. It was so good. Do you have any crazy facts on it or non-crazy?
Yeah, so I have a couple. So Howard, if I'm pronouncing his name right, it says that he improved a lot of his lines,
Yeah,
being like the little psychopath hitchhiker. The film was considered really, really violent, so it got an X rating, which,
yeah,
okay, that seems more
yeah.
fun.
I
I'd
don't
rather see
remember
that.
any nudity at all in it. It was just for
So
violence.
yeah, just gore. Yeah. Um, it said that Howell, who played the protagonist, later said he was genuinely frightened of Howard, am I saying that right?
Yeah,
During filming because of his intense performance. So spooky, scary over there.
yeah,
Uh, and then you talked about the girl's death, and apparently it was really controversial and super brutal. And so a lot of people were like, ugh. It developed a big cult following, though, this whole movie in general. And so,
yeah. I don't recall a death during this period that affected me like that because this wasn't Jason or Freddy coming to do it. This was just a rotten
a
guy.
real person.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that thought of this horrific thing of tying, and you thought, oh well, there obviously he's
They're
going
gonna
to
save
come
her.
save her, and he doesn't, and
Mm,
you're just like, what in the hell did I just watch? But
yeah.
it did get remade. It's very very good. I don't think I've seen the newer version of it.
I must not have either, but
Yeah,
yeah,
this one's intense. It is absolutely known for the intensity of it, and just over the top psychological horror, over the top.
right.
Anything else on that one?
No, that's it, because I've seen this next one and I'm excited to kind of talk about it.
Oh, I love this one. So number 14 is
Hmm.
Re-Animator, and I saw Re-Animator, Re-Animator 2, and this was
Yeah.
groundbreaking. Absolutely groundbreaking. Not only for the gore, not only for the disgusting part, there was absolutely dark humor written into this. Uh,
Yeah.
I mean, there's scenes where it's so gross that you want to laugh about it. Even in this trailer, I think they're resurrecting a cat or something like
Hmm.
that. And it comes back to life. The head scene in the trailer, they show it in the trailer. The mad scientist, the teacher, gets his head chopped
Yeah.
off, and they bring the head back to life. The other mad scientist student brings the head back to life.
Right.
Um, this was just done so cool with all the effects, and of course, the head is always on a table, so the guy's
Hmm.
underneath it, and suddenly it
Yeah.
comes up. But there's
Ooh.
parts where he does take the head off, and you can absolutely tell it's fake head. But there's naked stuff in it, and even in the trailer, you see the guy's butt, a dead guy's butt. Um,
Okay.
but what was really groundbreaking, I felt, was the actress Barbara Jordan, who was a soap opera star, and
Okay.
she's naked in it, and that was not done as a soap opera star, not at all.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. I would
It
assume so,
was
yeah.
just, it was like, what the heck? And there was so many things. She just started another movie recently, another horror movie in the last couple of years. I forgot what it's called. It was on Apple TV
Oh,
and I bought it.
interesting.
But she looks exactly the same 40 years later. So the head
For her.
scenes in the trailer are fantastic. The trailer doesn't leave anything it doesn't leave anything out. You see it. And it's based on H.P. Lovecraft. So he's a horror guy
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's famous for all kinds of like how do you say it? Cthulhu or whatever it's called. Um
I don't know how to say that word.
Good thing. Kind of like Dungeons and
Yeah.
Dragons type stuff. But anyways, what do you got on this one?
Okay, so it said that director Gordon originally conceived the project as a TV series, but it turned into a movie due to budget concerns. So that's interesting. The decapitated head scene with Dr. Hill is one of the film's most infamous and shocking
Yeah.
moments, of course. Um, the film effects were so extreme that it was actually banned in a couple countries due to the violence and gore. The last thing was that the film was only shot in 18 days, which is not a lot. So it said that the crew was working tirelessly to complete it. So that's a short turnaround, I would
Yeah.
assume.
And they were it's not like anybody was making a ton of money back then.
True. Yeah, I would be curious to know what their salaries were.
Yeah, there were two sequels for this. It's cult status, obviously.
Right.
It just was one of those things that I loved. I rewatched many times, and it's a fun movie. I guess it's a fun
Hmm.
horror movie with lots of
It
gore.
is.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a lot of jokey horror comedy, but gruesome and gory
yeah,
and inappropriate, honestly. I
perfect,
do think myself.
perfect. Just my kind of movie. So let's go to number 15, which is An American Werewolf in London. And this was
That
one that
seems boring. Is it boring? I didn't see
no,
it.
my God, no. So let's see, what year was this? 1981. So I just graduated high
81.
school. I remember the
Hey.
trailers coming out for this when I worked at the theater, and um, it was like ha ha ha, funny, 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 and then knock you in the face. It
Oh,
was crazy. So there's a lot of humor in this, and then the serious horror. You've got Nazi werewolves or vampires, whatever they were. You've
mm,
got a major, major transformation. A very famous director, I don't know if this was his first one, John Landis, did
hmm.
this. It starred the guy that was, and if I hope to God I'm right on this. I think I am. His big claim to fame was he was in the Dr. Pepper commercials. I'm a pepper, you're a pepper. Let's all be a Dr. Pepper, some crap like that. And that now he's in this one.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
it wonderful, wonderful story. In the trailer, they show him naked, covered but naked, a
Heyo.
little romance. Um, but it was just like the transformation scene. I don't know who did the effects. Won an
Took
Academy
over six
Award.
days
Won
to
it.
film that transformation part.
Yeah, well, it won the first Academy Award for Best Makeup
Hmm.
in
Yep.
1981. So that's the one that won the first makeup award. Um,
Oh, gotcha.
but shot in location in London. I loved it. What do you got on this?
Hello. Okay, so said the director had the idea for the movie back in 69, but he struggled to get it made for over a decade. So sure he's really proud of himself when he finished.
Yeah,
Um, the director also insisted on having the werewolf walk on all fours to distinguish it from other werewolf films where they were walking upright.
yeah,
And it said that this movie inspired Michael Jackson's Thriller music video.
absolutely. So
You
the
think
so
so?
the
Okay.
makeup is the same for when
Oh,
Michael
okay, okay.
Jackson does like the hands, same thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
In fact, it's got to be
Okay.
the same guy that did it. Got to be.
Maybe.
And I bet you John Landis did Thriller, directed Thriller. I would bet
Autumn Dollar?
my Godzilla. I would bet my Godzilla that John Landis directed Thriller or my
I
bottom
don't know.
dollar. What else? Anything else on this one?
That's all I got for that one.
And you
When
haven't
I
seen
thought
it.
of no, and when I see that title of the film, I think of like dumb, like 30, like old-fashioned black and white werewolf movie that just looks stupid, but you said it's not, so maybe I'll watch it.
No, and there's some funny scenes. I mean, I remember there's a scene where they're at the movie theater. He's at the movie theater, the guy that turns into the werewolf. His buddy that went with him to London on this hiking trip was viciously killed. And his body and him as a viciously killed corpse walks into the movie theater and starts talking to him. And I mean,
Oh,
it's like crazy scenes that's funny, but really graphically looks fantastic. So,
right.
yeah, it's definitely worth checking out, and I think
Hmm.
you'll enjoy it. It's not one that you go back and say, "Oh, I gotta watch that again," but it's something that's definitely worth looking at and watching. I
Yeah.
really enjoyed going to the theater and seeing that one. So number 16 from 1983, another Stephen King adaptation is Cujo. It's different than the book. The book ends dramatically different than what this movie.
Okay.
And it probably would not have got away with how the book ends. So they
Hmm.
made it more Hollywood friendly for this.
Right.
But this was about a lady and her son and a giant Saint Bernard that
Hmm.
is
Cute.
traps them in and wants to murder them, and it is
Oh, so it's
crazy.
literally just about a crazy dog?
Yeah, yeah,
Aw.
yeah. It's not awe. Like you don't like this dog afterwards. This dog is brutal, brutal, brutal. Um, and I think Clint Howard's in it. You know who Clint Howard is?
It sounds familiar.
Yeah, it's Ron Howard's little brother. So if I'm wrong, I'm gonna look like a dummy. I thought it was Clint Howard in it. I'm looking at the trailer now, but this was brutal. I mean, they're
Hmm.
trapped in a station wagon, and this dog is ramming windows, ramming the car. It's blood all over the dog from getting people. It's there's a lot of blood in this, and
Yeah.
you wouldn't think w that this dog would be the terror of the whole thing, but the mom's struggle is really the movie. The mom trying to protect and make it out alive is just it's just insane. What did you dig up on this one?
Okay, so it said that I would assume the mom's name is Donna, right?
Uh,
Play,
I
played
don't.
by Dee
Sure.
Wallace. Okay, well, that's her name, just to inform you.
Okay.
She said she was genuinely terrified of the dog, um, because the dog's behavior was unpredictable when she would do the scenes with the Saint Bernard. I would assume like the real dog actual dog wasn't unpredictable because it would have to be trained, but just like filming the scenes
Yeah.
and with even the animatronic dogs were probably scary. It did say that there were several different Saint Bernards, like real dogs, and the animatronics dogs that were used in various scenes. Um,
And
it said, and what?
and men in dog suits.
No way.
Yeah, they actually
Really?
they actually had Saint Bernard suits that the stunt guys wore to use to do parts of that. So I would
That's pretty
imagine
funny. I
like
want to look that up.
yeah, I've got it right here. A mechanical head that they had to have used to bash in like the windows of
Yeah,
the
yeah,
car.
yeah.
But there
Right.
were men in dog
That's
suits
funny.
used in this. And it was shot in California, although the story is supposed to take place in Maine.
Oh, is it okay? It
Yeah.
said that the dog that played Cujo, or like the main one, I guess, was incredibly friendly and loved licking all the
Oh.
cast members on staff. Um, whenever I think of a dog in a movie, I'm always like, no, that dog has probably passed away by now. I know it definitely has, but
I do too.
it
I
makes
think of
me
the same thing.
sad.
Yeah,
I'm
I
like,
mean,
aw,
looking back at the 1970s shows that we talked about, how many people is the entire cast is dead?
yeah, yeah,
Just yeah, time's
sad,
fast. Time's fast. All right, let's
crazy.
take it to number 17, which is Lost Boys. And every girl went nuts on the Lost Boys.
Hey, I keep seeing on TikTok this new shirt. I've never seen the movie. Obviously, I need to see it if all the girlies are going for it.
Oh yeah.
But there's a new t-shirt that came out with like the Hottie Lamatis from the Lost Boys. I thought it was about Peter Pan. Like
Oh
the
no.
Lost Boys? Is it about that? I don't know. I
Yeah.
need to watch this one.
No, the Lost Boys had like the 20-ish 8-year-old sex symbols of the time, and I'm telling you, it was just crazy. It was a lot about California and vampires, which,
Mm.
who knew anything about that? It was Keith or Sutherland. It was, God, what was the other guy's name? I want to say Jason Patrick, but I'm not positive that's who it was.
Corey Haim?
Yeah, both
Never
Corys are
mind.
in there. So
Yeah, I see two Corys.
Corey,
Kiefer
yeah, Keith, but
Sutherland.
Corey Feldman, Mr. Rockstar, Mr. Rockstar Corey Feldman, and then Corey Haim, who passed away, are in this as well. They're young kids and vampire hunters,
Yeah.
and the story's really good. It's a really, really good story. Great special effects. Um, Adds humor to it, and it's appropriate humor. Like, it doesn't screw it up. It's really, really good. This is one
Yeah.
I highly recommend seeing this. A lot of famous people were in this. A lot of great vampire special effects. Um, Kiefer Sutherland's look in this when he's a vampire is amazing. So, like, sometimes you look like a vampire, sometimes you look just like a cool California biker dude or whatever. Like they
Yeah.
so it was a good movie. Do you have anything on the Vampire Gang or
Yeah.
Boys?
Yeah, so remember how I just joked that it was like I thought it was about Peter Pan?
Yeah.
Well, apparently the title is a reference to Peter Pan's Lost Boys who never grow up, which are similar to vampires in the film. So
Yes.
it was a little play off of that. Kiefer Sutherland, you said he was a hot motorcycle man, so now I definitely need to watch that movie. But apparently he broke his wrist during filming after falling off his motorcycle,
Motorcycle. Yeah.
motorcycle.
And
Yep.
spikes on it.
And you can see the cast on his wrist in certain scenes, which is
Oh, I didn't.
interesting. You'd think they would try to hide that better. Corey Haim and Corey Feldman became lifelong friends after making this film, which I think is really cute. And then it says the iconic beach concert scene featuring the saxophone player has become a cult pop
Yeah.
moment in pop culture with the performer Tim Capello.
So Tim
Capella?
Capello was this huge muscle guy with long hair, and he'd play the sax. He was in did some stuff with Tina Turner as well. He's still around today.
Oh,
And
really? Okay.
yeah, and I saw him recently. They redid the song. Who just did this song? Um, Gosh,
Can you give us a sample of the song? I don't know what
somebody
song you're
just
talking about.
remade the song. I forgot who it was, but yeah, directed by Joel Schumacher, who later goes on to make really wonderful movies. But yeah, the saxophone guy was like the big hit. This was a movie where you could take a date to, and she'd be happy, or he, uh,
Boing.
with the guys, and then the girl that starred in it, I can't remember her name. Um, she was was the only girl that was the big part in it, and she was equally good looking to look at. So you got a good date.
Wasn't it Rosie O'Donnell?
Yeah, yes, it was Rosie
Is that who,
O'Donnell. It
is that who
was.
started it?
Yes, you're right. I forgot. It was Rosie O'Donnell. So let's talk about number 18, Pumpkinhead. Have you seen Pumpkinhead?
No, but I've seen his work. I've seen the animatronics at the spirit store, but I've never
Oh, is
seen the
there an
movie, right?
animatronics to this?
Oh no, am I thinking of Trick or Treat? Never mind. I'm thinking
Pumpkinhead
of a
is not
different
a
movie.
pumpkin head. It looks more like Alien.
All right. I
Yeah.
haven't seen it and I have no clue what you're talking
Well, it's about a guy that summons a demon, and the
about.
demon
Okay.
is named Pumpkinhead after he killed his son. He summons him. Um,
Okay.
it was directed by Stan Winston, who's a legendary special effects artist. So he got
Right.
he got to do whatever he wanted in this film, and it was not a big success by any means. But it later became iconic. The creature, again, with so many looks towards aliens, and
Hmm.
except for it had these long claw arms, and it did a
Oh, I
lot of,
think I know. I know this one. Now I know which one you're talking about. He has
yeah,
like the long, yeah, I know
yeah,
the
yeah. I mean, it
the
looks like a,
thing.
a
Yeah.
a giant tree with a giant alien
Hmm.
head on it that comes after people, and
Yeah,
That creature design is iconic now. There's action figures
right.
of Pumpkinhead, and
Yeah,
it is a really good movie. It's not a bad movie at all. But it wasn't a breakout horror movie. This came out in 1988, and
right.
I don't know. I don't know if anybody considers it super phenomenal, but it made number 18 on the top 20. What do you have on it? Any facts?
The Pumpkinhead creature was a 7 foot tall animatronic, but it was a suit worn by the actor Tom Woodruff, Jr., who later went on to play the alien in several films.
Oh, wow.
The movie was really low budget, but the amazing creature effects helped it create that cult classic. Maybe, probably in the future, develop that cult following. The character Pumpkinhead was also based off of a poem of the same name, with the film borrowing that supernatural like theme from the poem, the
What was the
vengeance
poem?
theme. I don't know.
I think
Let
I
me
have it
recite it
here.
right now.
I think I have it here. Pumpkinhead, Pumpkinhead, where
Where
are
art
you,
thou?
Pumpkin?
Yeah, that's what
That
it was
was it.
based off of.
That's all the
Beautiful
whole thing.
poem.
Whole thing was based on that fantastic poem. So let's go to number 19, which is one of my all-time favorite aliens. This is part two of Alien, obviously.
Yeah, I
Came
was
out
gonna say.
1986. James Cameron,
Hmm.
Titanic. James.
Capron, why'd you have a little accent there?
Did I have an accent?
Yeah, you said it was by James Cameron.
No,
You
because I
when you
can't even talk
said
like that.
Cameron.
That must have been me sharing my sheet like this. So
Uh-oh.
no, it's he did Titanic and Avatar.
Oh, did he
Obviously.
really?
Yeah.
Love Titanic.
Yeah, well, and Sigourney Weaver does her role as Ripley again. And
Right.
the poster features her holding this massive gun and a little girl. This
Oh.
brought Marines to the thing where you had badass Marine guys and girls. Um,
Mhm.
it was going to be a war to wipe these people out. It's very well known for the Battle of Ripley versus the Alien Queen.
Right.
Great special effects, great horror, great movie. It wasn't just more of the same from Alien. It was it took it to a whole nother level. The
Yeah.
vehicle that they use in this was super cool. The effects were way up another notch. It was a great story. What did you hear about it?
So the director had to battle studio executives who were skeptical about a female lead. I'm sure at that time it probably wasn't like very prominent that women were having these lead roles in movies and stuff. And so I think that that's cool that the lady did turn out to be the lead, and it went on to obviously be a really great film.
It won
There's a
two
famous.
Academy Awards. Did you know that?
Oh, did it really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yep.
Love that. There's a famous line that says, "Get away from her, you
Bitch.
bitch."
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was actually improv by Miss Weaver. So, and it was one of the most, uh-oh, here's my word again. It was one of the most memorable quotes in the
You did it.
film.
You did
What the
it.
I
That's
don't know
awesome.
what's wrong with me.
Yeah, I don't know.
The alien the Alien Queen was also operated by 16 puppeteers, which gives me Labyrinth vibes.
Oh, was
They had
Jim
a lot of
Henson
puppets
part of
in
that?
Labyrinth. No, I don't think so.
Oh, well, that's good. Was Blippy?
Wait, Flippy?
No, never
That
mind.
guy? Whatever.
So,
Moving
so
on.
it earned $183 million.
Oh, that's a lot.
This thing cranked it out. And it holds
Yeah.
up today. That's the crazy thing. You could throw this out right now, and
Hmm.
the special effects are right there. It's not CGI, which is so good. The creatures were creatures they created, and that
Yeah.
now it would be all CGI. And
Right.
I think
Mm-hmm.
that makes it stand out. So listen, we're at number 20. We're at number 20, and this is from 1989 Pet
Hmm.
Cemetery. Pet
Ooh.
Cemetery had a red band trailer.
Oh.
Only see it if you're
So you know
watching
it's
an
good.
R-rated movie. Yep. Here's what was screwy with this. I thought the movie poster was so scary to look at.
Hmm.
The trailer was so grotesque and scary to look at. They're pulling like a animal out of the ground. It's all bloody and ugh. And I didn't think this was that scary.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Hmm.
I mean, it was based on Stephen King. I don't know that Stephen King thought this was great because I think it's been done over a few times.
I
Stephen
think
King
so too,
actually
yeah.
he plays a minister in this
Yep,
at the
during a
funeral,
funeral.
and they show it in the trailer. He's like, oh, at a funeral. Um,
Yeah.
it was filmed near his house in Maine. So the problem, the one fact, do you have the fact about Zelda?
Yeah, that it was played by a male actor. Is that the fact?
No, the character Zelda, who suffers from spinal meningitis, left a lasting impact on audiences. I don't even know who Zelda was in this, or had spinal meningitis. I don't know. Is she like all crooked in this or something?
Well, it says the creepy character of Zelda, Rachel's sister, was played by a male actor, Andrew Hubatasek, to make her appearance even more disturbing.
Oh, maybe that's the whole gig on this thing. I'm not.
Yeah,
And I said bent. That's not spinal meningitis. That's spinal whatever you call it. So I'm wrong on that one. Um, what else did you find out on this thing? Again, the poster is scary. Guy with white
yeah.
skin and yellow eyes.
What
Looks
is he, have kidney problems?
it's liver problem.
Oh, dang it. I really thought I
But
had that
that's all
one.
right. I said spinal meningitis and the wrong thing on that too.
Good thing we're not doctors.
Yeah.
All right. Cat Church was actually played by multiple cats that were trained to do different behaviors such as hissing and lying still. Smart
Oh,
little kitty cats, which is cute.
and they're all
The
dead now.
ending, stop. I can't, it really makes me upset thinking
Okay.
about that. The ending was altered from King's novel to make it darker, with the filmmakers feeling that a more sinister conclusion would fit the film better, which apparently you said it wasn't even that scary anyway, so
Yeah.
they should have done darker, darker, darker,
And
but
which is
whatever.
funny because Cujo, they toned it down.
Yeah, that's true. Hmm.
So I don't know what the big difference was, but yeah, that was I think Stephen King, I'll have to look, but I think he makes a cameo in almost all of his stuff.
I think so too. It seems like that's a reoccurring
I
theme
mean, he
here.
sure had everything happening from the late 70s through the 80s and still today. I mean, um,
Yeah.
Salem's Lot's out now, and that was that
Yes.
for TV thing. It's not
Hmm.
getting good reviews though. There's
Oh, really? Hmm.
Yeah, they're still saying the best one, and it's been done at another time too, is the original made for TV movie. And I
Yeah.
had some comments on our last video about this, and those that watched it that are my age when it came out are still remember that damn vampire scene where that little
Hmm.
kid's floating at the window. I mean, it
Yeah.
is haunting, haunting. Do you have any more facts on this one before we get to our bonus one?
Yeah, you move right on to the bonus one, and I don't have any facts about it, so I want to hear all about this
Yeah,
bonus
okay.
film.
So this is a movie that called Motel Hell,
Okay.
and it is about a guy and a gal. I wonder if it's his daughter or I don't. Anyways, they make smoked meat. You know what they make smoked meat out of? People.
Humans?
Yeah. So
Okay.
so in the trailer, you see these bags on the ground shaking. And what
Oh
that is,
God.
buried human, and their head is above ground so they can breathe, but they put a potato sack on it, and they cut their tongue out so they can't talk. So all they do is go,
Oh,
ah, ah, ah. That's it, right?
that's scary.
It is scary. The pig mask that you see in many Halloween haunted houses now. I think
Yeah,
you
yeah,
even
yeah.
saw it in Saw. It's a pig
Yes.
mask
Hmm.
that was in this. That was, I think,
Oh,
first.
okay.
So there's a very famous chainsaw fight between two people, the
Yeah.
farmer and his girlfriend, daughter. I don't know what the hell she is. She
Hmm.
was in Porky's. She was the late. She was the PE coach in Porky's. If you've ever seen Porky's, and those that were my age absolutely saw Porky's. She's the one that was in the shower, the girls' shower, when the boy put his you know what through the hole in the shower
Oh
and
God, what were you
and
watching?
she grabs it and holds on for dear life. It's a hilarious scene. It's not as inappropriate as it sounds.
Oh,
Um,
sure.
but this is a lot of dark comedy. It's very satirical. Um, the tagline in it is even on the poster. It takes all kinds of critters to make Farmer Vincent's fritters. And the poster's really cool because it's got four heads above the ground going, ah, and then the two
Yeah.
are behind him. It's your typical, I think Elaine Joyce is in this. Elaine
Okay.
Joyce was this blonde, um, married to a guy named Bobby, who was a game show host in real life. And then she was later on lots of 70s game shows. She was a good looking blonde. I don't know if she's been in a lot of movies, but she was in this one. Um,
Yeah.
but this is just one where it's your typical people go to this hotel, they get them, and then they make them into sausages and stuff. And the original thing is the motel says Motel Hello, and in the trailer, the
No.
O burns out
No.
and it says Motel Hell in red neon, which I thought was really good. The trailer on this one was fun. Now, I don't think this
Yeah.
made a ton of money at all. United Artists put it
Right.
out, so it was a big studio that put it out. But this was one from 1980, and the pig mask thing was huge in this. And it was one that you said, you went back to school and said, "Oh my God, did you go see Motel Hell? That was
Yeah.
so funny." Or, they chop their tongues out, and then everybody's going, "Oh," in the and buried. It was just a really good conversation piece type thing that
Yeah.
I think a lot of people enjoyed and never took it very serious at all. It was good. It was good.
Yeah.
So that's it. That's our top 20 plus one
Plus
from
one.
the 1980s decades of horror. And it was fun going through this. I don't know.
Yeah.
I thought it was,
I liked it. But you know what? I'm excited for our next one because, I'm young-ish.
yeah.
And I haven't seen a lot of these 70s and 80s movies. And so I'm excited to start getting into when I was actually alive. And so we're going to do the 1990s next. And I'm so
Yeah.
excited. There's some really good ones in here. I'm going to bring some uh, signed memorabilia
Ooh.
for next weeks or whenever we post this next one for the 90s. And one of the scariest movies made and changed my life for the worse.
Was it something green? Does a
Slightly green.
does a four-leaf clover have anything to do with it?
I'm home alone right now, so
Does
no talking
Jennifer
about
Aniston
leprechauns
have
because it's
anything to do with it?
a little bit.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, thanks everyone for joining us on this travel through the 1980s decade of horror. We'll be back in a week to do the
Hmm.
1990s, and Danielle will be talking a lot more. And as we keep going through it,
Yes.
I've seen less of
You'll
the
fall
newer
off
ones.
and I'll come.
Yeah, we'll start tipping the scales a bit, but this has been fun. Thanks again for joining us. And the Steve with ActionNerd.com, and that's my daughter Danielle. And we will see you in 1 week.
Oh, okay.
All
Like
right.
and subscribe.
Like and subscribe and share
Leave a
and
comment.
comment and all those other things that nobody did last time. But
Way to go.
we did get some subscribers out of it
Okay.
and lots of views, a lot of views within the first day. So thank you very much.
Good.
I hope you enjoyed this one and give us feedback. What can we do better? We added scary lighting, at least I did. And
Yeah, you did. I'll be better next time with my
Amazon,
setup.
Amazon 40% off Govee lighting, so why not? All right. See y'all.
Sponsored, not sponsored.
All right. Bye.
Bye.